Uncertain month of January 1776, a small pamphlet of fewer than 50 pages appeared on the streets of Philadelphia. Its title was simple, direct, and bold: Common Sense. At that moment, the American colonies were a place of raw nerves and profound division. The air was thick with the smoke of recent battles, yet the path forward remained shrouded in fog. Many colonists, perhaps most, still considered themselves loyal subjects of King George III. They hoped for reconciliation, for a return to the familiar bonds of empire. This unassuming publication, however, was a spark thrown into a powder keg, an argument so plain and powerful, it would help ignite a revolution and give birth to a new nation. The pamphlet was written by a man named Thomas Paine, a recent immigrant from England, who had arrived in America only a year earlier, with little more than a letter of introduction from Benjamin Franklin. Paine was not a lawyer, a wealthy landowner, or a pedigreed member of the colonial elite. He was a former corset maker and a tax collector, a man who had known failure and hardship. Yet he possessed a remarkable gift for language. Thomas Paine arrived in Philadelphia in late 1774, a man in his late 30s whose life thus far had been a series of disappointments. Born in Thetford, England, he had tried his hand at various trades, making ship-rigging, collecting excise taxes, but had found lasting success in none. A man of keen intellect and strong opinions, constrained by a rigid class-bound English society, Benjamin Franklin, whom he met in London, saw a spark in Paine and encouraged him to seek a new start in the American colonies. Franklin's letter of introduction called him an ingenious, worthy young man. The America Paine found was a society in ferment. The First Continental Congress had recently met to coordinate a response to Britain's coercive acts. Those acts closed the port of Boston and curtailed self-government in Massachusetts. Armed conflict had not yet erupted, but the colonies were teetering on the brink. Paine found work as a writer and editor for the Pennsylvania Magazine. He honed his skills and immersed himself in the colonial cause. He listened to debates in the taverns and coffee houses, sensing deep-seated grievances and pervasive fear and uncertainty. Arguments for colonial rights were couched in complex legal terms, accessible only to the educated elite. Brilliant thinkers did not always reach the common person. Paine saw the need for an appeal that spoke directly to the heart, using simple, powerful logic. He began writing Common Sense in the autumn of 1775, as conflict escalated. The battle at Lexington, the fighting at Concord, and the siege of Boston had already happened. Yet, the Continental Congress hesitated, sending the olive branch petition to the king. His pamphlet was meant to be an alarm bell, to make independence feel necessary and urgent. At the very heart of Common Sense lies a profound skepticism of government power. Paine begins not with a celebration of government, but with a sharp distinction between society and government. Society is a positive force, produced by our wants and our inclination to cooperate for mutual benefit. Government, in stark contrast, is a product of our wickedness. It is, in his famous formulation, a necessary evil. Its primary purpose is to restrain our vices and provide security, because virtue alone will not ensure justice. If government is born of human failing, it must be watched with constant suspicion. Its power should be limited, its scope strictly defined, its officials accountable. The more complex a government, the more likely it is to become oppressive and detached. He championed a simple form of government, a republic with frequent elections. Representatives must remain closely tied to their constituents. This was a direct assault on the sprawling bureaucracy of the British state. Paine's assertion that government's sole purpose is to provide freedom and security was revolutionary to many readers. In the 18th century, governments projected monarchs' power, defended aristocratic privilege, and enforced religious orthodoxy. To call government a necessary evil stripped it of mystique. It became a practical tool to be judged by utility, and discarded if it fails. This perspective shaped debates over the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, seeding American distrust of concentrated authority. A powerful belief took root: the best government is one that governs least. It is this enduring skepticism that continues to shape modern debates. Paine reserved his most scathing and memorable criticism for the institution of monarchy and the principle of hereditary succession. He did not merely fault King George III's policies, he attacked the very idea of a king as contrary to nature and reason. With biting wit, he dismantled royalty's mystique, tracing kingship not to divine will, but to ancient sin and conquest. He dismissed the notion that one man could be born with a right to rule millions as a ridiculous and insulting fiction. Hereditary succession was, in Paine's view, preposterous and dangerous, an insult and an imposition on posterity. A wise king, a foolish son, a virtuous ruler, a wicked one, leaving a nation's fate to the lottery of genetics. History was the best evidence, a catalogue of wars, intrigues, oppression. Monarchy brought conflict at home and abroad. Kings, driven by pride and ambition, dragged nations into endless wars for territory and glory, sacrificing lives and treasure. Before common sense, colonists blamed parliament and ministers while keeping loyalty to the monarch. Paine shattered this distinction. He personalized the tyranny, naming King George III, the hardened, sullen-tempered pharaoh of England who unleashed his armies against his own people. By demolishing the pedestal on which the king stood, Paine freed the American mind. He made the king not a father, but an enemy of liberty, clearing the way for a complete and final break. Reconciliation gave way to revolution. Building on his critique of government, Paine constructed a powerful case for independence grounded in natural rights. Drawing on John Locke and other Enlightenment thinkers, he argued rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are inherent to all. These rights do not come from kings, parliaments, or governments. They are a gift from God, or a fundamental aspect of nature. Because rights are natural, no government can legitimately take them away. Government exists to secure and protect those rights. When Britain taxed without consent, restricted trade, and quartered troops, it violated fundamental liberties. The conflict became a moral crusade. Paine empowered readers to see themselves as the ultimate source of political authority. He declared, "A government of our own is our natural right." Jefferson's declaration echoed Paine. All men are endowed by their creator with unalienable rights. Governments derive just powers from the consent of the governed. Paine appealed to common sense. Why should a vast continent be governed by a small, remote island, thousands of miles away? Distance made just governance impossible. News, petitions, and instructions took months to cross the Atlantic. Decisions affecting millions were made by people who had never set foot in America. The British connection was a liability, pulling America into Europe's wars and disrupting trade. Independence would open markets and secure peace and prosperity. America had people, land, and industry to thrive as a sovereign nation. Sever the chain and fulfill its destiny. The impact of common sense owed as much to circulation as to ideas. Published anonymously in Philadelphia, it sold out in weeks. Printers across the colonies produced their own editions, often without Paine's permission. As many as 120,000 copies sold in 3 months, in a land of about 2 million free people. Its true reach was magnified because it was read aloud, in taverns, in churches, in town squares, even in military camps. General George Washington had it read to his troops, to bolster morale. Its simple declarative sentences were perfect for public recitation, winning the wavering to independence. It gave voice to private feelings many had feared to express, making independence mainstream. Leaders felt a final push. A groundswell emboldened delegates toward a formal declaration. It broke the last chains to the crown and replaced them with a vision of a self-governing republic. The long-term influence extends far beyond 1776. Its themes became core to the nation's political DNA. Limited government, natural rights, and popular sovereignty resonated with the founders, informing checks and balances and federalism. The Bill of Rights answered the fear that even a republic could oppress. Paine's warning, government as a necessary evil, watched carefully, remains a touchstone for those who prize liberty and enterprise. Paine's pamphlet wasn't just theory, it was a fiery call to action that inspires peaceful but firm resistance to overreach, school choice fights, border security, and challenges over election integrity, pushback against inflation fueled by reckless spending, and climate policies that kill jobs. His limited government ethos influenced the founders' Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Let common sense be our rallying cry. Vote for leaders who shrink the state, safeguard liberty, and restore American exceptionalism. In the final analysis, Thomas Paine's Common Sense stands as a testament to the power of a single idea clearly expressed to change the world. It was a work of its time, written for a specific purpose at a moment of profound crisis, yet its message proved timeless. By stripping away monarchy's pretensions and arguing for natural rights and popular consent, Paine launched a revolution in thought. He taught ordinary people they were masters of their destiny, and that the cause of America was the cause of all mankind. Its strength lies in simplicity and first principles. Limit government, reject hereditary rule. All just authority comes from the people. He gave Americans a logical and moral framework, turning rebellion into a noble quest for liberty. Its legacy is written into our foundational documents and echoes in our political discourse to this day. Though challenges change, Paine's questions about freedom and security, the individual and the state, remain as relevant as ever. History is shaped not only by armies and leaders, but by the force of ideas, by ink, paper, and a passionate belief in the rights of man. Common sense did not win the war, but it helped define what the war was for. It remains a founding document of American liberty. Across the centuries, it urges citizens to be vigilant in defense of their own freedom. Let us remember, government is a necessary evil, use it sparingly, bind it with the people's consent, and keep liberty ever at the center of the American experiment.